Hello, everyone. It's good evening here in US, and also good morning time in Thailand, Philippines, and thank you for joining us today. And once again, welcome to Coach Connor. At this session, we are talking about your a lot of people journey. Talk to coaches, talk to experts, talk to someone has been there, done that. So hopefully this session will give you some inspiration and follow your dream one way or another. But today, I say tonight because we normally host this at another time. But tonight here at our time here in US, we have a privilege to talk with Belle. She is one of the role model, I would say, for every girls who play soccer right now in Asia, right? Her pathway and her dream and everything um, was intact from her youth and junior, and also her national team experience. And once you get to college at Stanford at the highest level, and now she actually realized her dream in professional as a starter. So, and then I, just want to introduce myself. Just want to make sure everyone know me. My name is George. I'm a CEO and the founder of the agency College Recruit. We are number one college consulting in Asia. So we operating 10 different sports, 10 different countries, and we had headquarter in Bangkok, Thailand. And for me, I'm responsible for the U.S. Unit part, and that way, so we have both sides of the staff and the team cover you in Asia and also here in US. And joining us today, a little bit later, we'll introduce you to my partner, Kai Dadan. He from Sports Pathway International. It's a headquarter in Philippines. So we've been in our partnership for a while now, and we've been able to help many athletes to come here in US in college pathway. Hey, hi Cal, how are you doing?
Hey, good. Hi, George. Hi, Belle. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Yeah, I was when George told me about you being a guest of ours, I was like, oh yeah, it's a
Oh,
Stanford is very close to my alma mater. I graduated from Santa Clara, so
okay. Big
yeah,
rivalry between us, not gonna
yeah,
lie.
yes, and I'm sure you know Kelsey, right?
Kelsey Turnbow?
Are you guys? You
Yeah.
guys are in the same professional team now, right?
Yeah, I'm actually here now. Literally had practice earlier today, so it's always
Nice.
fun being with her. She's great. Love her.
Perfect. Well, great to have you. Great to have you here with
Yeah,
us.
I'm excited.
Good. So Kai also play tennis for Santa Clara.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, so right there at your backyard, and I play tennis for South Alabama, a lot older than Kyle, and of course you. But thank you again. So why don't we start with this? Well, I know you are about to start for your professional career. Okay, so let's start with this question. Have you ever seen yourself at this point 15 years ago
Oof.
or 10 years ago?
Um, no, I haven't. I definitely thought about it and dreamed about it. But I never thought that I would have gotten to where I would have today. I think what motivated me and what gave me the encouragement to pursue this today and play professionally was my teammates 15 years ago, and just how much I enjoyed playing soccer, not because of the pressure, not because of anything else, but just because it gave me such pure joy.
Okay. So I mean, you start play soccer before U.S. women won the championship World Cup. What right? What
I think
made
so.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
would
was
say
like,
so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So
probably.
so in that case, I mean, even you didn't remember it, which means you actually start soccer here in U.S. before they became a hype.
Yeah.
Why
So I
why
was
why
born and
you
raised.
select soccer then? why you select soccer? Because back then, no U.S. girl plays soccer.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Georgia, and so I have three sisters, one older, two younger, and I think my parents just kind of threw me in sports when I was younger. We're like, okay, this will just burn their energy and just make my parents' lives easier in terms of us napping and whatever. But they realized they saw something in me, a potential that I had, and they wanted me to continue to pursue it. But it was also on me to continue to pursue it. And honestly, the national team wasn't on my radar at that point. I just wanted to, like I said, have that joy that it gave me and just meeting new people. But I think when I was younger, there was no responsibilities. I was just out there to have fun and play. And I wasn't really thinking long-term or US things at the time. As you mentioned, them winning World Cup, like it was so new to me. I didn't know. I was just out there doing what I wanted at the time.
I see. Okay. And you are the only daughter, or you have a sibling?
No, I have three sisters. So I have one older, two younger. So two of them are actually in college now. Both playing soccer. One is a goalkeeper at Indiana, and then the youngest one is a freshman at Arizona. She's a
Soccer too?
forward.
Oh wow.
Yeah, both soccer. Yeah, we're a big soccer family. I don't know how it started, but
All right. What do you think, Kyle? I mean, 15 years ago, like me from Thailand. 15 years ago, women's soccer, female soccer, girls soccer, was not even in the radar for many. They pick out a sport first, swimming, all the stuff before they actually play soccer. What about in
yeah.
Philippines?
Oh, in the Philippines, it's the same thing. I think, no, you were right, George. It wasn't on the radar at all. But for the past, several years, it just started to boom, both for the men's and the women. So a lot more kids now are actually playing soccer. And to be honest, I wasn't really a fan at first, but then, once I started to get to watching games and following every single match, for example, at the UEFA Champions League, MLS, and all of that, and even college soccer. That's how I got to know of Kelsey. I haven't met Kelsey, but I know of her because obviously, apart from aside from being a Santa Clara Bronco, I really followed women's soccer, the NCAA women's soccer. So I could tell that I give credit to you guys, for making it like a very, very popular sport in the past several years. So good job there, Belle.
Thank you.
All right, so you started because of your parents want you to burn Cali, right? So come back,
Mm-hmm.
sleep at night, not trouble them, get up again, and I would say, let's forward that a little bit, because when is your first time you actually play competitive soccer?
Oof. I want to say when I was like U13, U14, obviously I was in a club, and so they just developed me up through the cycle. But I would say competitively U13, U12, U13, but it wasn't until I was like U15 that I decided that this is something that I just want to pursue in the future and play collegiately. I still wasn't sure about professionally. I obviously thought about it, but didn't want to get too far ahead of myself at the time. But I think just coming from a very competitive family also helped me just love the competition, and why I just decided I wanted to pursue a career and an opportunity in college to play as well.
Okay, so U15, which means you probably grade 9
Yeah.
somewhere.
And it wasn't like super competitive. It wasn't like, I don't think we were playing 11v11 at the time, which is kind of standard. I want to say we were playing like 6v6 or 8v8, but I just like enjoyed like beating teams. I hated losing. I never wanted to be the goalkeeper. That was like the one rule I had. I was like, nope, I will play any other position except goalkeeper.
Okay. And what position you play back then?
Oh gosh, I mean, they kind of just cycle you through every position. They don't really have a designated position that young. I think the older you get, and depending on technical ability and just your athletic abilities, they kind of find a more prominent place for you.
Okay. So that was you 15, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you starting to think about Stanford College soccer? Is that when that's when you 15?
Yeah, so I think what really helped me was my invitation to youth and national teams camps. There's one of them. Yeah, I would say my first ever U.S. camp was when I was 15. I was terrified. There's literally a photo of me. I should have sent it to you,
Hmm.
holding my pillow pet in the airport, like leaving my parents for the first time, like going on a flight by myself to California, so across the country. Uh, and I think they're like being able to hang with other girls around the country and just play this sport that brought me closer to new friends, different styles of play, made me realize that like I could definitely play in college.
Okay. So and then you developed it from there, right? From U15, you get into U17,
Yeah,
U19.
I
You
started on
became a keeper.
U15. It was with the whole structure was kind of odd. Oh, there's Kelsey, by the way, 14. Um, so I've known her since I've been super young. But what was I saying? The
Structure.
cycle was super weird. So I started on U15, and then I would skip U16 for I don't even know what reason it was. I think it was birth year. And then I went up to under 17 and then 18 and then 19 and then 20. So I think with the growth of US soccer, I think they added more US youth teams as well.
Okay. So what do you remember in this picture?
Oh my gosh, this was in Northern Ireland. So
Yeah.
this is actually a few months after I tore, or not a few, like a whole year after I tore my ACL and MCL. So in high school, I tore my ACL and MCL was out for a whole year. It was horrible. But I had a great PT and everything and got me back. And so this was my first tournament back. And it was honestly so amazing. Just being able to represent your country and score a few goals. It was such an honor, and to just make more memories and with these people, it was great.
Okay. No, it's I mean, you won, right? You beat the
Yeah.
host country.
Mm-hmm.
Your team won the whole thing. With congratulations. Well,
Thank you.
so your soccer was doing great. Well, what
Yeah,
about
U.S.
your
soccer is doing great. What
yeah?
about what?
Your soccer was doing great. U15, U16, 17,
Mhm.
all the stuff. Seemed like you in the national team pool there,
Yeah.
that elite top group. How was your study? How was your
Yeah,
education?
I was actually going to ask about that, Belle, because you obviously got into Stanford. It's every kid's dream school, if you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. And
Mhm.
now you're playing professionally, and then leading up to that, you played starting at U15. You said it's basically like the highest level of soccer in internationally and obviously in the US. So how did you balance that with academics? Because obviously you're a smart you were definitely a smart student.
Yeah, time management is super important, I would say. Um, but I don't know. I think I made a lot of sacrifices outside of soccer and academics. I wouldn't really hang out with a lot of friends because I would be studying, prepping for an exam or whatever. But I did get a few phone calls from the school being like lack of attendance issues and stuff. But I mean, I also had a great high school who was super helpful in terms of my absence. And I would make sure to contact my professors prior to me leaving for long U.S. trips or even for tournaments with our club teams. But honestly, I think leaving for a U15 camp across the country really helps me mature a lot faster than a lot of other people. And I think when I decided that I wanted to take a more significant or have soccer be more meaningful in the future, that I needed to make those sacrifices, and I needed to just learn how to balance my time between the hours of practice and the academics, just finding the balance and like I said, the sacrifices. But it was hard at first, but I think the more you understand what you need to do to stay on top of your work, it becomes easier. And even in college, like they really help you. Like professors obviously want you to be successful. And so I think I haven't heard anyone that has said that they have had issues with professors being stubborn about assignments being completed on time and stuff. So I think the most important thing for me would be like the communication piece, being like, hey, I'm leaving. What do I need to do? Do I need to come in early this day when I get back? So it definitely has taught me a lot of life lessons, which I think is great. So post soccer, I can actually navigate in the real field of a working career.
Perfect. And did your in high school, did your parents help you out in terms of holding you accountable to your assignments and all of that, obviously on top of your school, obviously keeping you on track or anything like that? Because some kids, they prefer not to have their parents involved. Some kids, they need to have their parents involved. So maybe you can enlighten us on how you actually managed to balance both your academics and soccer.
Yeah, my parents, I was mostly responsible. I think it was a good life lesson for me. And I'm thankful they didn't like push me to do things. I'm glad that it was more of like on me, like, okay, this is what I need to do. But I think having an agenda of things is super important to keep you on track for what you need to accomplish by the end of the day or even by the end of the week. And I think that's like one of the most important things, and that's helped me with my time management. But always setting little breaks in between each thing, so you're not just driving yourself crazy for 3 hours studying one thing or working on one assignment. But I would say and like obviously utilizing teacher resources as much as you can. I think that's also super important, especially when you do have to leave at weeks at a time for national team stuff. I literally would become almost best friends with my professors because I would be in there like having them tutor me through content I missed, or they would send videos to me. But I think definitely having a journal or to-do list is essential in helping.
Mm-hmm. Office hours, professor's office hours, right?
Office hours, but I wasn't sure if anyone knew what those were. Office hours are so crucial.
Yes. No, I agree. Thanks for sharing that.
But you went to a public school, right?
Yeah, I didn't go to a private. I went to a big public school in Georgia.
Okay. So how many AP you actually take?
Oh gosh.
It has to be a lot.
Oh, I can't even remember. I want to say like 6 or more, definitely 6 or more.
From high school or just 1 year?
From high school, so from grade 9 through 12.
Oh wow, yeah. Add on top of those.
Yeah, but I also know a ton of girls that I met took online classes.
Yeah.
And I took a few online classes as well. So like if it does become to the point where it's a class where you think that you'd benefit more, more if it's online, then I think you should take that, and because it'll help in terms of you falling behind versus staying on track.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm sure you have many offer. So when you have an NIL signing, like that.
Oh yeah,
So
those are hard conversations to make.
yeah. So all right, when is the first contact from Stanford? What grade?
First contact from Stanford specifically, or any
Yeah.
college?
No, just Stanford.
So Stanford was a little different. So Stanford didn't really come to East Coast to recruit. So I actually was playing in Vegas when they saw me play.
Hmm.
And then after that, they got in touch with my club coach. And I think I was a sophomore because I committed the fall of my sophomore year. So end of freshman year to early sophomore year of high school.
Yeah, because you were under the old rule that they can offer you anytime.
Yeah, the whole thing is weird now. I'm like not up to date with everything going on with the new rule changes with recruiting and stuff.
And now it's a junior. You have to be a junior.
Okay.
Yeah, junior.
Yeah, I was definitely committed. I committed, I want to say like September of my sophomore year in high school.
Okay. Wow. Good. So when you committed, but the coach and also the academic advisor still working with you. How often they checking in on your curriculum?
So it was more so I verbally committed. I didn't sign yet. But they did ask for like essential scores like ACT, SAT, GPA was important, but they didn't really guide me or assist me. I just kind of had to go through the application process. And then it was the coaches asking for my scores and stuff.
Okay. But the coach asking for your score.
Yeah, so it was more so the coaches to like send it like, hey, send in your test scores, or hey, send me your GPA. It wasn't necessarily that their involvement with that. Like I didn't have a one-on-one with one of their academic advisors.
Oh, okay, good. So how good was your grade with the AP?
Oh, it was good.
What? 4.2, 4.5?
Oh gosh, it's been so long. Maybe a 4.2 or something. I have no idea.
All right, that's good.
That's good, yeah.
I can't remember. It feels so long ago.
Yeah. Now, what's the second choice for you? It was not
school, college.
Yeah.
I was so torn. I obviously wanted to play on the West Coast just because I felt like their style of play was a lot better and more along the lines of what I thought that I would fit in better with. I was torn between Stanford, obviously, and University of Southern California. But I'm not mad, and I don't regret my decision at all. So that's good.
Are they they're both rivalry, right?
Yeah, they are. I would say our biggest rivalry though is like Cal and Santa Clara. Even though Santa Clara is not in our conference. We always beef with one another though.
Good.
You guys had some tough matches, right?
We did. We actually played them first this past season in NCAAs, and unfortunately didn't come off the way we wanted to. So that was my last game wearing the Stanford jersey, unfortunately. But had a fun round.
Yeah.
So in soccer, as a student athlete, your season is in fall, right?
Yeah. So season is in fall, and then you do out of season stuff. Yeah. Obviously out of season.
Do you remember your transition from high school to college? How did you prepare for your first year coming in as
I think having national team experience really helps me in preparation for the transition from high school to college. I think you have to go in knowing that you're playing with girls who are 4 years older than you. It's a different type of game, a lot faster, fewer room for error. And so I think for me, the best thing that kind of helped me was just focusing on what I was good at. So making my strengths even stronger. And then focusing somewhat on my weaknesses. But I think coming in with a mindset of like, this is a very different situation. Like, it's okay if I don't play a lot of minutes my freshman year. But I think having that mindset of like, you want to learn and grow and develop because you are playing with older players, stronger players, smarter players. So I think just going in, you have to be like mentally strong. And you can do that by just kind of telling yourself that this is a new environment and you're going to struggle. But where you really grow and develop is how you respond to that struggle. Because my journey wasn't easy. I mean, I didn't play much my freshman year. I struggled a little with fitness, the mentality, because I was like, oh, I kind of came in thinking that I was going to start and play a lot of minutes because I was on the national team, but that doesn't mean anything. Just coming in and proving to yourself and to the coaches that you deserve to be here, and that you are here for a reason because they did recruit you and stuff is super important. But I mean, it's a roller coaster ride. You'll have highs and lows. But every second is worth the journey. And it will get better. It will get better. But it's hard to transition at first because you're walking into a new environment.
Yeah.
But if you just stay true to who you are and what you know and what are capable of doing on the field, then you will be fine.
And the coaches will guide you throughout your transition, right? I think coaches are very good at that. Your teammates are also very good at that. And that's actually very good advice that you've given, very good insight, because a lot of the kids, they get overwhelmed. They think they're already good being part of the national team in whatever sport they play. They've played internationally and all of that. And once they get to college, they're like, oh, I'm actually like at the bottom of level wise.
At the bottom. And I totally feel that way now too, even the transition from college to professional life. But I also think that it's your class, like in college, it's your graduating class. It's like those bonding moments within your teammates, like you're all going through it together. And so you need to rely on one another to get you through it. But even the transition from college to professional, it's very different. They expect different things from you, just like in terms of coachability. But I think at the end of the day, if you're very coachable and you want to be there and you're willing to adapt, then I think you will thrive.
Yes.
And you don't give up when you're going through the trenches.
Right. And I think based on my experience, it's also how you deal with the pressure, right? With that kind of situation. Because if you deal with it as if it's like a super negative thing, then obviously you're not gonna be successful in transitioning. But if you take it as a challenge, then you should be able to be okay, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh no, you will definitely be better. Yeah. But also diamonds are built under pressure. But the pressure thing, there is more pressure, I think, even at each stage you advance. Even in the real world, there's always pressure. And that's one thing that college has allowed me to realize is how to deal with that pressure and how to cope and what mechanisms work for me personally. I listen to music or I say a prayer or something. So it's just like do what's good for you and like figure out what helps you personally.
Perfect. Great advice.
Yeah. All right. I'm in golf. Right. In golf, we have it called mulligan. You know mulligan?
No.
No. How about do over?
Do over, yes.
So if you have that moment, do over, again when you start freshman, what would you have done differently? Because you mentioned you were struggle as well, right? In freshman, you hadn't played a lot of time, stuff.
Yeah, I
If,
struggled.
if if you have a do-over moment, what would you done? What would you do now?
Honestly, I've been asked this a lot, and
Yeah.
I've just been the same every time is I wouldn't change anything because without the struggle, without the times when I was in the depths, I got out of it and it got me to where I am today. And so I feel like people need to experience the struggle to come out even better and on top. I mean, obviously, there's small things like fitness. I would have loved to be fitter, stronger, but I mean that comes over time. But I needed to experience that struggle to figure out who I was as a person outside of soccer, but also who I was as a player. So I learned a lot about myself in terms of my motivation levels because I think me being in me struggling was more motivation for me to do better. And I feel like a lot of people, we were talking about pressure. I feel like a lot of people break under the pressure, but that's like what represents your true character.
Okay. It's experience, right?
Yeah.
That's it is one of those things like in golf, you double par, or you get 9 out of 4, and you feel bad, but that experience, so next time you don't do it again.
Exactly. Because if everything worked out the way I wanted it to, I wouldn't have learned so much that I learned already.
Good. All right, we got about 10 more minutes here. Well, why don't we just fast forwards a little bit and talk about your happy moment?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about this picture.
So this was my freshman year, and this was literally my first season at Stanford, and we won it. And it's actually interesting you say that because my freshman year I struggled. So I didn't feel like I truly contributed a lot to the success of this team. That's me personally, even though we are a team and everyone contributes regardless of if you're on the field or on the bench. And I think another thing to think about in your transition is you're going to have a different role on the team. You're not going to be playing a ton of minutes, so you're going to be the best cheerleader on the field. I mean, on the side of the field, cheering on your best friends. And so that was kind of my role for my freshman year, is to be the big cheerleader, encouraging others who are on the field. So I feel like I didn't contribute on the field, but off the field I did. And honestly, it was so fun. It was in Florida too, so all my friends and family came and supported me. But it was a great experience because we again won it in my junior year, and so and we won a lot. Winning Pac-12. That was also, I think we won that 3 years in a row, back to back to back. It's just crazy. I contributed a lot more in that year on the field.
Good.
So I think it's good for me to learn that my freshman year, and then we won another championship my junior year, that like your role on the team is different each year. And so my freshman year, as I said, I was on the sideline. That was my job. To be the cheerleader. And then my junior year, I contributed and I started and I played the full 90 minutes. And so I felt like my role was a lot bigger and more impactful than my freshman year. But it was good to get both experiences and just think about it in terms of what your role is and what your job is and how you can help contribute regardless of where you are.
Good. And you one of a student athlete who I wouldn't say it take advantage of COVID situation, right? You on the 5th year?
Yeah, so I did. I had a 5th year, thankfully. The 5th year was really nice and helpful in terms of allowing me to develop more at a collegiate level and just kind of have a more leadership role being an upperclassman again. So that was super, super nice, but also just playing and getting more minutes, getting more recognition so I could pursue a professional career. That was also super helpful.
So I got a lot of this question regarding to like student athlete, and a lot of coaches tell me, "All right, George, I can recruit your client, but
You can recruit, your client.
I can
Okay.
recruit your client, right? Clients, but I don't know if he or she gonna survive, right?
Interesting.
So how did you survive Stanford
Ooh,
and two national championship, and all this accomplishment that you have to do? How you manage your time, and if anything, just one or two things that you can give it, as a guidance for other people, would be wonderful.
Yeah, so when I was first looking at colleges, they said pick a college you would just love the campus, like take out all the athletics. Like, would this be a place where you could see yourself and finding an identity outside of soccer? And I think for me, that's kind of how I survived. So having those outlets outside of soccer that were fun, like meeting new friends, going and doing new things, joining clubs, just kind of exploring what the campus had to offer and kind of taking soccer out of my identity at times so I could survive and just not recall how horrible training was or something, just to get my mind off of it. I think that was the biggest contributor as to how I did survive college. I would also say just relying on your teammates and like just being coachable and learning from the older players. I think your class is super important going into college because you're going to be with them for 4 years, and you're all going through the same emotions and feelings, and you're in it together. And by relying on one another, like, you can lift each other up. And then just relying on the upperclassmen too, asking questions. This is all soccer related, by the way. Asking questions to the upperclassmen if you're confused. But like, I think everyone has a personality, and I think you should bring that to the table regardless. And surviving is different for everyone. For me, it was having those outlets outside of soccer and just finding really quality friends. Because without that, then I don't know where it would be. But they were the reasons why it made soccer more enjoyable, because I felt like I had two separate lives in a sense, where I had my soccer friends and then I had my friends outside of soccer. So I wasn't just focused on soccer the entire time.
Good, good, good. And what major did you graduate? About to graduate?
Human biology with a bachelor's in science.
Wow. Don't you have to do a lot of like lab work or?
Yeah, so
That's impressive. That's impressive right there.
honestly, it was a lot balancing, but I felt like balancing college academics and athletics is so much easier because you have an academic advisor, you have free tutors, you have everything you need. Like, they want you to be successful. It's better for them. It's all about reputation. So they want you to succeed, and most professors are happy to accommodate regardless of the situation. So, but yeah, human biology, lots of research, but a lot of it that I planned to do research was during COVID. So a lot of it was online, which was quite unfortunate. And I wanted to, over the summer, I wanted to do some research in a lab about diabetes, but I was unable to because COVID hit at that time. So quite unfortunate.
You can.
But the academic piece is a bigger transition because there's less flexibility in terms of grades and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different because usually in high school, if you go to a private school or a smaller public school, you might have that one-on-one with teachers and professors or small classes. Whereas in college, like, you have big class, like there's like 120 kids in your class. So you're not going to have that one-on-one with the professor. And so it's on you to actually take accountability and go and talk to the TAs or professor if you need help.
Mm-hmm. And how, because I'm sure a lot of, these kids and parents are curious about the level of academics is at Stanford. Maybe can you, I guess it's different for everyone. Obviously depends on, the major, the intellectual capabilities and all that, but maybe can you give us a general idea of what's it like to be a student athlete at Stanford?
Oh gosh. I would say at first it was very intimidating. I felt like I was stupid compared to everyone else. I was like, I don't fit in here. Like, people are way smarter than me. But then I realized, like, over time that everyone is in the same boat. Like, everyone is struggling on the same things and stuff. But I think if you don't ask questions, you'll never know. So that was like my biggest takeaway from college is like, you have to ask those questions that you don't want to have to ask in front of everyone. But everyone's smart there. There isn't an easy major at Stanford. Maybe communications, but like even communications. But the one nice thing about Stanford is it did offer a lot of flexibility in terms of concentration for human biology or other majors. So I have a concentration in human performance, focusing more on like cancer biology and stuff. So they allowed me to pick and choose my classes. And so once you get through all the core classes that are kind of boring and like more challenging, you kind of pick classes that are more interesting to you. And obviously you do better in those classes because you're the one picking them. But I would definitely say it was intimidating at first, but everyone's in the same boat. But yeah, there is no easy major and people are very smart, very creative. Very creative.
Thank you.
But they want you to be successful like everyone does. Like they want to help you and like they're willing to like professors in general, but also like students, like they want to connect you to other people to help you with whatever area you're interested in studying. So it's definitely a network. That is one thing that like I'm very thankful for, like coming out with a Stanford degree is the amount of connections that people have is absurd.
Wow. There you go. Everyone's smart at Stanford.
Yeah.
you gotta ask those questions.
Yeah, even the stereotypes, like I know people say the football players and stuff, but like, and that's a stereotype, but like, no, everyone's smart.
Everyone's smart. Okay, that's very good to know. Thanks for clearing that out.
No, everyone has to make it for admissions. Like you still have to like get admitted and you get some leeway with with athletics, but I don't know to what extent. Like you still need great test scores, you still need a good GPA. So like everyone is just incredibly smart.
Wow. So the rumors say that they Stanford create a different type level of class for student athlete. Is not true.
Different type of no. Now, granted, there are easier classes you can take.
Okay.
And so you usually take those easier classes during season because season's super long. So you kind of balance it out. Yeah. And you take more challenging classes outside of season. But
all right. That's good. So no Dracula class or, like live on campus classes like other school that they have? Nothing like that at Stanford, right? So a lot of these colleges have, special classes for student athletes, like happy in a campus class or something.
No. Stanford does not separate the two. They try to make it as equal as possible. And so, for example, Stanford doesn't allow athletes to enroll in classes earlier than the general population. So it's just like they're very equal in terms of what they allow. Yeah. So
even though you have to do more work than other students?
Yeah. But also some out of students have jobs and like they're doing full-time research. So like people find jobs and stuff. So sometimes I'm like, when I don't have practice, I'm like, wow, this is what it's like to not have time in my hands or to have time on my hands. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kyle, before we move to her current position, do you have anything else in college life that you want to ask her?
No, no, no. I think that the insight shared by Belle was very helpful, and will be very helpful when kids look back at this webinar, because obviously they wanted to know what it's like to be a student athlete at a very tough academic institution like Stanford. So yeah, that's all I think I would ask Belle for now.
But I will say, like, college was super fun. And
Mm.
honestly, the best 5 years of my life because of the friendships I created and the opportunities I got. Um, like I said, it's a roller coaster ride with soccer and everything, but enjoy it as much as you can. Enjoy the struggle.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
All right. So,
Me?
well, for me, I just have one question for your soccer, you starting professional career here.
Yes.
And I know we couldn't wait to see where you're gonna be in the next 10 years. You know, hopefully you don't forget about us.
Oh, no.
So, all right, why you start your professional career here in U.S.?
That's a great question. I was looking all over. I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do post college. I was like, do I want to enter the workplace, or if I wanted to play soccer professionally? Um, so I was still debating on that, and I was leaning more towards going to Europe and playing Italy, Spain, France, Germany. Mostly looking at Germany, just because I think it's a very different style of soccer that I haven't learned yet. And I think it would have been super fun to just try and experience that. But I think after talking to my coaches and really taking time, I was like, I have nothing to lose if I enter the NWSL draft. I know a ton of former Stanford soccer girls who do play in the NWSL and they love it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw my name in the hat, and if it gets drawn, then great. There wasn't one thing that kind of pulled me to it. I think it was just another opportunity and open door for me, because if I decided that I didn't want to play in the U.S., I could use it as leverage to get abroad and find teams abroad. So, but I think at the end of the day, with COVID and everything and how in Europe's situation with that, I was like, I think staying in the U.S. for a few years might be good for me. And then if I wanted to go abroad, then that also is still on the table. But I was just kind of sending it. I had no plan.
Well, I'm sure your plan so far has been great.
So far, it's been great. But the process is like very like stressful.
Yeah.
So just because I got drafted doesn't mean I have a contract. And so I've been here for 4 weeks, and we find out tomorrow actually if I get a contract or not.
Wow.
So tomorrow's a big day.
Big
I'm
day.
super excited, but like this journey has been so different, so much anxiety, so much stress, but I have great roommates who were all in the same boat, feel the same way, and I've kind of used my tools that I learned in college here, and that's been super helpful.
Wow. And how
Wow.
many of you doing this 4-week training?
So there's a lot of us. So I want to say total there's like 31, 32, and they're taking 26.
Okay.
31 through. Oh wow.
Yeah, and I think there's like 19 or 20 already contracted.
Hmm.
So, yes, talk about pressure. But it's like honestly going to Stanford and playing at such a high level, it's helped me transition a lot smoother here.
Good.
Hmm.
All right. Well, thank you.
Wow.
why don't I leave this moment just so anybody who have a question comes in. If you have a question, raise your hand.
Also, don't feel if you don't have questions. I'm sure George or someone from the agency can share my contact information for those who have questions in the future that need to be asked or answered.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. And we already know that someone to follow your footsteps. Daniel from Singapore, right? So
Yes, very true.
she really want to follow your footsteps.
Oh, she's so sweet. I hope everything works out for her. And my last update I gave you, but
Okay, good. All right, Kyle, anything? Good.
No. I think it was really great to have you, Belle. Very good information, very good insights, based on your obviously knowledge, experience, and your career throughout. From when you started to where you are now. Thanks for giving us that that pathway that you went through. So I just would like to congratulate you. I'm sure tomorrow will be a very good day, a celebratory day for you.
thank you.
So, advanced congratulations.
Thank you.
And congratulations on an overall very, very successful career, soccer career. So,
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me talk.
Well, thank you, again, Belle, for your time, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.